Welcome to the Madison Miller Podcast. Today is Monday, November 22nd, 2021. Today I'm going to recap all things from the weekend from the NFL, college football, NBA, NHL, college basketball. Look ahead to everything going on today. I will recap the weekend's golf tournament. We'll go over the weekend's news and notes. We'll preview and predict the Dancing with the Stars finale, which is tonight, and my best bet of the day. All right, now we're going to start with Week 11 Sunday results from the NFL, and we will look ahead to the Monday night game between the Bucs and the Giants. Colts over the Bills, 41-15. Wow. I don't think anyone saw that coming. Colts go to 6-5, Buffalo 6-4. Ravens over the Bears, 16-13. No Lamar Jackson in this game. Baltimore 7-3, Chicago 3-7. Browns over the Lions, 13-10. Browns 6-5. Lions 9-1. Texans over the Titans, 22-13. Texans 2-8. Tennessee 8-3. Vikings over the Packers, 34-31. Minnesota 5-5. Green Bay 8-3. Dolphins over the Jets, 24-17. Dolphins 4-7. Jets 2-8. Eagles over the Saints, 40-29. Eagles 5-6, New Orleans 5-5. Washington over the Panthers 27-21. Washington 4-6. Carolina 5-6. 49ers over the Jaguars 30-10. 49ers 5-5. Jacksonville 2-8. Bengals over the Raiders 32-13. Bengals 6-4. Las Vegas 5-5. Chiefs over the Cowboys 19-9. KC 7-4. Dallas 7-3. Cardinals over the Seahawks 23-13. Cardinals 9-2. Seattle 3-7. And the Chargers over the Steelers, 41-37. LA 6-4. Pittsburgh 5-4-1. Now we look ahead to tonight, 8:15. ESPN Steve Levy, Brian Grease, and Louis Riddick on the call. Giants at the Bucs. My projection is Bucs by 9, total 49-25. Saquon Barkley back for the Giants today, as is Kenny Golladay. The line's Bucs 11, total 49.5. I'm taking the Giants getting 11. Will they win the game? No. I think that they'll play a competitive game. And the Bucs, I think, might win by 10 points. So I'm going to say Bucs win by 10. And I also have a slight edge to the under. So Bucs money line is too high to go with, but my pick for this game for the podcast is Giants getting 11. No, they won't win, and yes, they will cover. All right, now we'll recap college football from the weekend. So many interesting results from both Friday night and into Saturday as we inch closer to Thanksgiving. Friday results. Southern Miss over Louisiana Tech, 35-19. Southern Miss 2-9. La Tech 3-8. Number 24 Houston over Memphis, 31-13. Houston 10-1. Memphis 5-6. Washington State over Arizona, 44-18. Wazoo 6-5. Arizona 1-10. Air Force over Nevada, 41-39 in triple overtime. Air Force 8-3. Nevada 7-4. Number 19, San Diego State over UNLV, 28-20. San Diego State 10-1, UNLV 2-9. So that best bet over was an absolute lock from Friday night. Saturday, number 1, Georgia over Charleston Southern, 56-7. Georgia 11-0, Charleston Southern 4-6. Number 4, Ohio State slams number 7, Michigan State 56-7. Ohio State 10-1, Michigan State 9-2. Clemson over number 10, Wake Forest, 48-27. Clemson 8-3, Wake 9-2. Number 13, Oklahoma over Iowa State, 28-21. OU 10-1, Iowa State 6-5. Number 16, Texas A&M over Prairie View A&M, 52-3. A&M 8-3, Prairie View 7-3. Number 25, Mississippi State over Tennessee State, 55-10. Mississippi State 7-4, Tennessee State 5-6. Kentucky over New Mexico State, 56-16. Kentucky 8-3. New Mexico State 1-10. Western Kentucky over FAU, 52-17. WKU 7-4. FAU 5-6. Florida State over Boston College, 26-23. FSU 5-6. BC 6-5. North Carolina over Wofford 34-14. UNC 6-5. Wofford 1-10. Purdue over Northwestern 32-14. Purdue 7-4. Northwestern 3-8. Penn State over Rutgers 28-0. Penn State 7-4. Rutgers 5-6. Army over UMass 33-17. Army 7-3. UMass 1-10. West Virginia over Texas 31-23. West Virginia 5-6. Texas 4-7. Tulane over South Florida 45-14. Tulane 2-9. South Florida 2-9. Kent State over Akron 38-0. Kent State 6-5. Akron 2-9. Coastal Carolina over Texas State 35-21. Coastal 9-2. Texas State 3-1. Number 17 Iowa over Illinois 33-23. Iowa 9-2. Illinois 4-7. Georgia State over Arkansas State 28-20. Georgia State 6-5. Ark State 2-9. Number 8 Notre Dame over Georgia Tech 55-0. Notre Dame 10-1. Georgia Tech 3-8. Colorado over Washington 20-17. Colorado 4-7. Washington 4-7. Number 2 Alabama over number 21 Arkansas 42-35. Bama 10-1. Arkansas 7-4. Number 6 Michigan over Maryland 59-18. Michigan 10-1. Maryland 5-6. Number 15 Wisconsin over Nebraska 35-28. Wisconsin 8-3. Nebraska 3-8. Number 18 Pitt over Virginia 48-38. Pitt 9-2. Virginia 6-5. Number 22 UTSA over UAB 34-31. UTSA 11-0. UAB 7-4. Marshall over Charlotte 49-28. Marshall 7-4. Charlotte 5-6. Old Dom over Middle Tennessee 24-17. Both teams are 5-6. Minnesota over Illinois 35-14. Minnesota 7-4. Illinois or Indiana 2-9. East Carolina over Navy 38-35. ECU 7-4. Navy 2-8. App State over Troy 45-7. App State 9-2. Troy 5-6. Number 5 Cincinnati over SMU 48-14. Cincinnati 11-0. SMU 8-3. Number 14 BYU over Georgia Southern 34-17. BYU 9-2. Georgia Southern 3-8. Number 20 NC State over Syracuse 41-17. NC State 8-3. Syracuse 5-6. Missouri over Florida 24-23 in overtime. Mizzou 6-5. Florida 5-6. UTEP over Rice 38-28. UTEP 7-4. Rice 3-8. UCF over UConn 49-17. UCF 7-4. UConn 1-10. Louisiana over Liberty 42-14. Liberty drops to 7-4. Louisiana 10-1. TCU over Kansas 31-28. TCU 5-6. Kansas 2-9. Tulsa over Temple 44-10. Tulsa 5-6. Temple 3-8. UCLA over USC 62-33. UCLA 7-4. USC 4-6. Number 11 Baylor over Kansas State 2010. Baylor 9-2. Kansas State 7-4. South Carolina over Auburn 21-17. SC 6-5. So was Auburn. North Texas over FIU 49-7. North Texas 5-6. FIU 1-10. Cal kills Stanford 41-11. Cal 4-6. Stanford 3-8. Number 23 Utah over number 3 Oregon 38-7. Utah 8-3. Oregon 9-2. Number 12 Ole Miss over Vandy 31-17. Ole Miss 9-2. Vandy 2-9. Tennessee over South Alabama 60-14. Tennessee 6-5. South Alabama 5-6. Miami over Virginia Tech 38-26. Miami 6-5. Va Tech 5-6. Number 9 Oklahoma State over Texas 23-0. Oklahoma State 10-1. Texas Tech 6-5. Wyoming over Utah State 44-17. Wyoming 6-5. Utah State 8-3. LSU over UL Monroe 27-14. LSU 5-6. UL Monroe 4-7. Boise over New Mexico 37-0. Boise 7-4. New Mexico 3-8. Oregon State over Arizona State 24-10. Oregon State 7-4. And so is Arizona State. And last but not least, Hawaii over Colorado State 50-45. Hawaii 5-7. Colorado is 3-8. All right. Now we'll recap the weekend's NBA games as we will look back on everything that happened over the weekend, and we will look ahead to tonight's games. Friday, Hornets over the Pacers, 121-118. Warriors over the Pistons, 105-102. Celtics over the Lakers, 130-108. Nets over the Magic, 115-93. Bucks over the Thunder, 96-89. Pels over the Clips, 94-81. Bulls over the Nuggets, 114-108. Suns over the Mavs, 112-104. Raps over the Kings, 108-89. Saturday, Knicks over the Rockets, 106.99. Pacers over the Pels, 111.94. Wiz over the Heat, 103.100. Hawks over the Hornets, 115.105. Celtics over the Thunder, 111.105. Bucks over the Magic, 117.108. Wolves over the Grizz, 138.95. Trailblazers over the Sixers, 118.111. And the Jazz over the Kings, 123-105. All right, now Sunday. Clips over the Mavs, 97-91. Lakers over the Pistons, 121-116. Bulls over the Knicks, 109-103. Suns over the Nuggets, 126-97. Wow. And the Warriors over the Raptors, 119-104. Now we look ahead to tonight's slate. At 7 o'clock on NBA TV, of the Nets and the Cavs. My projection, I just did lines, no totals. And for college basketball, by the way, I only did a couple lines because I didn't have time to do the rest. Mostly matinee game lines, but I'll give out picks anyway. So, I have the Nets projected 8.5, and it's 7. Totals 207.5. I'll gladly take the over. Hornets Wizards. Wizards, I project -4.25, and it's -4. Totals 217. I'm going under. 7:30 Thunder Hawks. My projection's Hawks 11. And it's Hawks 11. Crap. Totals 212.5. I'm going to go under. Rockets Celtics. My projection is Celtics 16.25. And it's 12. I'm going to lay the 12 with the Boston Celtics. 8 o'clock Pacers Bulls. My projection is Bulls 4.5. And it is Bulls 4.5, totals 211.5. I'm going to take the under. Bulls and unders are synonymous this year. Magic Bucks. My projection is Bucks by 18.25, and it's 12.5. I'm laying it with the Bucks. Timberwolves Pelicans. My projection is Wolves by 5.25, and it's 3.5. I don't have enough to lay it with the Minnesota. And I'm going to go with the over 213.5. 8:30 Suns Spurs. My projection is Suns 11.25. The 12-game win streak still at stake. Going for 13 straight, and it is 6. And I'm going to lay the 6 with Phoenix. Grizzlies Jazz. My at 9 o'clock projection. Jazz 9.25, and it is. I'm sorry, Jazz 9.25. It's Jazz 10. Total 221.5. That's how I'm going under. And 10 o'clock NBA TV, the 76ers and the Kings. My projection is Sacramento by 6 with the new intern coach and Alvin Gentry. We'll get into that in news and notes. And it's 2.5. I'm laying at 2.5 at Sacramento. I think this is a no-brainer. No Embiid, no Simmons. I don't see how Philly wins this game, let alone covers. So I'm going to lay the 2.5 with the Sacramento Kings here. All right, now we'll move on to the NHL recap. The weekend was in hockey, and we will look ahead to tonight. So Friday night, Canucks over the Jets 3-2, and the Avs over the Kraken 7-3. Saturday, Devils over Lightning 5-3, Canes over the Kings 5-4, Panthers over the Wild 5-4, Pens over the Leafs 2-0, Habs over the Preds 6-3, Flames over the Isles 5-2, Bruins over the Flyers 5-2, Stars over the Blues 4-1. Coyotes over the Red Wings 2-1 in overtime on a game winner by Clayton Keller. Oilers over the Blackhawks 5-2. Golden Knights over the Blue Jackets 3-2. And the Capitals over the Sharks 4-0. Rangers Senators was postponed due to the COVID outbreak of the Sens. Sunday, Lightning over the Wild 5-4 in a shootout. Rangers over the Sabres 5-4 on literally a buzzer beater goal by Ryan Lindgren. Flames over the Bruins 4-0. Maple Leafs over the Isles 3-0. Blackhawks over the Canucks 1-0. Kraken over the Capitals 5-2. And the Coyotes over the Kings 2-1 in OT on a game winner by Kyle Capobianco. Now we look ahead to tonight. Only 6 games. 7 o'clock, you have the Blue Jackets at the Sabres. The favorite in this game is Columbus -132. Buffalo's +110. Over under 6. Over is even money. Under is -122. Columbus -1.5 is +198. Buffalo +1.5 is -250. My pick for this game is going to be the draw. the tie, plus 310 at the end of regulation. I think this game goes to overtime. 8 o'clock, NHL Network, the Golden Knights at the Blues. The Blues are minus 154, Golden Knights plus 128, over under 5.5. Overs minus 115, unders minus 105. Blues minus 1.5 is plus 172, Golden Knights plus 1.5 is minus 215. I'm going Golden Knights plus 128 to win straight up. I just think they're better than the Blues. They're on the road. I just have a good feeling about the Knights. I think they're going to go on a little bit of a roll here. Ducks Preds. The Preds are minus 142. The Ducks are plus 118. Over under 5.5. Overs plus 106. Unders minus 130. Ducks plus 1.5 is minus 245. Nashville minus 1.5 is plus 194. Ducks are playing great hockey right now. I'm going to rock with them on the road too, plus 118. 8:30, Penguins Jets. Jets minus 118, Pens minus 102, over under 5.5. Overs minus 114, unders minus 106. Pens plus 1.5 is minus 290. Jets minus 1.5 is plus 225. I initially was going to go over with this pick, but the Penguins are starting to play better. Back-to-back shutouts for Tristan Jarry. I'm going to lay the minus 102 at Pittsburgh. Sens Avalanche, so the Senators return. Avalanche minus 375, Ottawa plus 290, over under 6. Overs minus 122, unders even money. Ottawa plus 1.5 is plus 114. Avs minus 1.5 is minus 140. I like the under at even money. I think the Avs can win this game 4-0, and that's a winner. 5-0 is a winner. 4-1. It's going to be low scoring. I'm going to go under 6 even money. We like it to jump to 6.5, though. Hurricanes Sharks. Canes minus 162. The Sharks are plus 134, over under 6. Overs minus 102, unders minus 120. Canes minus 1.5 is plus 164. Sharks plus 1.5 is minus 205. For this game, I'm going to go with the Canes in regulation at even money. Canes in regulation. I like that pick a lot for tonight. All right, college basketball. I'm going to quickly recap the weekend's games, and we will look ahead to the games for tonight, and then I'm going to do the gambling picks of what I have for you. So we'll begin with Friday night, or Friday day, too. Boise over Temple, 82-62. Utah State over New Mexico State, 85-58. Colorado State over Bradley, 66-60. Texas State over Dixie State, 85-65. St. Bonaventure, number 22, over Clemson, 68-65. Davidson over Penn, 72-60. UMass over Greensboro, 93-90 in overtime. North Dakota over Troy, 74-72. Creighton over Brown, 78-57. Vermont over Yale, 61-53. Oklahoma over Indiana State, 87-63. Longwood over American, 82-42. Eastern Washington over Cal State Northwood, 67-64 in overtime. Youngstown State over St. Thomas, 79-75. Iona over Liberty, 54-50. Weber State over Ball State, 85-74. Norfolk State over Bowling Green, 90-84. Northeastern over Duquesne, 71-55. FA over Tennessee Martin, 75-67. Pitt over Towson, 63-59. Maryland over Hofstra, number 29 Maryland over Hofstra, 20. 69-67. Georgetown over Siena, 83-65. Kentucky over Ohio, 77-59. Number 13 Kentucky. Number 21 Auburn over South Florida, 59-52. Cornell over Wells, 107-48. Marquette over West Virginia, 82-71. Merrimack over Lehigh, 55-45. Furman over Radford, 81-42. Or 81-64. Mount St. Mary's over Robert Morris, 74-70 in overtime. Nebraska over Idaho State, 78-60. Minnesota over Purdue Fort Wayne, 78-49. Iowa over George Washington, 67-56. JMU over GMU, 67-64. Maryland Eastern over Norfolk Fordham, 75-73 in double overtime. Maine over Maine Fort Kent, 75-43. Virginia over Coppin, 68-52. Belmont over Kennesaw, 97-78. Manhattan over North Alabama, 55-51. EC over Old Dom, 73-60. Wofford over Hampton, 77-60. Arkansas State over Southeast Missouri State, 72-60. UMBC over Western Carolina, 91-75. Stephen F. Austin over Middle Tennessee, 87-74. Niagara over SIU Edwardsville, 70-60. Number 7, Duke over Lafayette, 88-55. Number 11, Memphis over WKU, 74-62. Number 14, Alabama over Oakland, 86-59. Tarleton over Paul Quinn, 69-42. South Dakota over Southern, 71-68. FA over Green Bay, 63-60. Rice over New Orleans, 83-78. Southern Illinois over Colorado, 67-60. Stetson over Loire, 60-59. Louisiana Tech over Northwestern State, 83-64. Number 1, Gonzaga over Bellarmine, 92-50. Ole Miss over Lalon, 74-56. Santa Clara over Cal Poly, 87-57. Georgia Tech over Georgia, 88-78. Cal State Fullerton over San Diego, 57-55. UTEP over Pacific, 73-64. Arizona over Wichita State, 82-78 in overtime. Number 4, Michigan over Yale, 74-61. Saturday, number 23, UConn over Binghamton, 87-63. Bethune-Cookman over Bryant, 81-75. Monmouth over St. Joe's, 87-65. Number 5, Villanova over number 17, Tennessee, 71-53. Number 9, Baylor over Stanford, 86-48. Drake over Richmond, 73-70. Quinnipiac over Central Con, 76-65. Miami of Ohio over Heidelberg, 90-45. Edwardsville over Youngstown, 69-66. High Point over Howard, 73-63. UCF over Evansville, 75-59. North Arizona over Texas Rio Grande, 89-87. Harvard over Mitt, 98-52. Columbia over Mount St. Vincent, 87-62. Ossipee over Dayton, 87-81. Louisville over Detroit, 73-67. North Florida over Weber International, 103-43. Cleveland State over Canisius, 80-70. Buffalo over Ryder, 87-65. Air Force over Holy Cross, 72-53. Troy over Tennessee Martin, 80-67. Cal State over Dixie. Cal State Northridge over Dixie, 79-73. Charleston Southern over Bob Jones, 119-63. Brown over Bradley, 65-62. Number 6, Purdue over number 18, North Carolina, 93-84. South Alabama over Mobile, 78-45. G. Webb over Carver, 138. New Mexico over Montana State, 81-78. Loyola Chicago over UIC, 80-63. UNC Wilmington over Delaware State, 67-63. Nuga over VCU, 56-54. LaSalle over Army, 61-58. Santa Barbara over Chicago State, 81-50. Wake over A&T, 87-63. Central Arc over Oral Roberts, 70-67. St. Thomas over Niagara, 76-63. Georgia Southern over Hampton, 86-66. Navy over Radford, 47-33. Longwood over UMBC, 82-55. Georgia State over William & Mary, 77-59. St. Louis over Mercer, 75-58. Texas Tech over Incarnate Word, 84-62. Colgate over Syracuse, 185. Utah over BC, 68-61. Marist over VMI, 78-74 in overtime. Michigan State over Eastern Michigan, 83-59. Colorado over Duquesne, 84-76 in overtime. Number 8, Texas over San Jose State, 79-45. St. John's over Fairleigh Dickinson, 87-74. FA over North Dakota, 98-79. Manhattan over Liberty, 76-60. Riverside over Bethesda, 95-57. Illinois State over Bucknell, 105-100 in overtime. Western Carolina over American, 80-79. Tulsa over Rhode Island, 77-71. Eastern Kentucky over Albany, 77-64. Alabama State over NC Central, 80-74 in overtime. DePaul over Western Illinois, 84-80. Vandy over Winthrop, 77-63. Portland over Morgan State, 74-63. Fairfield over Sacred Heart, 71-61. Iona over North Alabama, 81-65. UC Irvine over Pepperdine, 82-48. BYU over Central Methodist, 97-61. Montana over Omaha, 68-47. UC San Diego over Sacramento State, 71-56. Texas Arlington loses to San Diego State, 68-62. Texas State over Eastern Washington, 81-74. And NJIT Wagner postponed. And Sunday, Temple over Alon, 75-58. Weber State over Green Bay, 68-58. Bryant over Holy Cross, 78-62. Xavier over Norfolk, 88-48. BU over Northern Illinois, 76-58. Penn over Old Dom, 71-63. Number 6 Purdue over number 5 Villanova, 80-74. Boise over Ole Miss, 60-50. St. Thomas over SIU Edwardsville, 86-73. Georgia State over High Point, 74-66 in overtime. Tennessee Martin over North Dakota, 77-72. Ball State over UMass, 89-86. Air Force over BC, as in Bethune-Cookman, 73-56. Sam Houston over Little Rock, 77-59. Utah State over Oklahoma, 73-70. South Dakota over Tennessee State, 83-66. Princeton over Oregon State, 81-80. Navy over Furman, 77-66. UAB over Alabama A&M, 86-41. Mississippi State over Morris State, 66-46. Southern Miss over Lamar, 82-75. Number 17, Tennessee over number 18, North Carolina, 89-72. Niagara over Youngstown State, 58-53. A&M Corpus Christi over UTSA, 77-58. Western Carolina over Longwood, 64-53. Marshall over Jackson State, 80-66. Nebraska over Southern, 82-59. Virginia Tech over Merrimack, 72-43. Denver over Houston Baptist, 74-61. Howard over William & Mary, 82-76. West Virginia over Clemson, 66-59. Rhode Island over BC, 71-65. Wofford over Georgia Southern, 70-52. FIU over UNC Greensboro, 74-71 in overtime. Florida State over Loyola Marymount, 73-49. Colorado State over Creighton, 95-81. FGCU over Eckerd, 99-59. Davidson over East Carolina, 76-67. Iowa State over Grambling, 82-47. NC State over Texas Southern, 69-57. Number 22, St. Bonaventure over Marquette, 70-54. Utah over Tulsa, 72-58. Indiana over Louisiana, 78-44. Northeastern over Southern Illinois, 59-47. Missouri over SMU, 80-75 in overtime. Florida A&M loses to Miami, 86-55. New Mexico State over Indiana, 80-66. Arizona upsets number 4 Michigan, 80-62. Cal Baptist over Northern Colorado, 74-70. And Wichita State over UNLV, 74-73. Now we look ahead to a very busy day today. And first up at 11 a.m., Northern Illinois, Little Rock from UNF Arena. My projection is 5 5/8. And the line is 2.5, 1.33 3.5. I'm laying it with Little Rock. Rice and Evansville from Hertz Arena. Projection, Rice 7 7/8. And it's Rice 6.5. Totals 134.5. Gunpoint over. 12 noon. Toledo, Charlotte from Baha Mar Convention Center. My projection is Charlotte by a quarter, and it's Toledo by 2.5. I'm taking Charlotte plus 2.5 and plus 115. Kent State and James Madison at 12 o'clock from Mo Kent Family Fieldhouse. I project JMU by 3, and it's Kent State by 1.5. I'm taking James Madison plus the 1.5, and that's weird. It's a money line. It's a pick 'em, minus 110 each way, and then Kent's favored on the spread. So I'm gonna go plus 1.5, minus 128, and minus 110 straight up. Bradley and Duquesne from the UVI Sports and Fitness Center. My projection is a pick 'em, and it is Duquesne 1.5, total 128.5. I like the over in that game a lot. Now we're in the 1 o'clock window. Sam Houston and BU from UNF Arena. My projection is BU by 4, and it's 1.5. I'm laying the 1.5 of BU. Vermont, Oakland, 1:30 from Hertz Arena. My projection is Vermont by 7.25, and it's 4.5. I'm laying a 4.5 in Vermont. 2 o'clock, ESPN2, Texas A&M and Wisconsin from the Michelob Ultra Arena. My projection is A&M by 2, and it is Wisconsin by 3.5. Wrong team's favor. I'm taking A&M plus the 3.5, minus 115, and plus 132 on the money line. $2.30. You have Wright State and George Washington from Mo Kent. It's the Naples Invitational. My projection is Wright by 10. And it's 7.5. I'm going to lay the 7.5 at Wright State. Drexel Tulane Nassau Championship from the Baha Mar Convention Center. My projection is Drexel 1.5, and it is Tulane 1.5. I'm taking Drexel in the points and minus 102. 3 o'clock, Cal Poly Nichols from the SoCal Challenge, the J. Serra Pavilion. My projection is Nichols by 9 1/8. And I don't see a lineup for this game. I'm going to check Vegas Insider real quick and see if they have a consensus on it. And let's see here what they got. Yeah, I don't have a lineup for that. So Nichols I have projected 9 1/8. Next up, you have Northwestern State UL Monroe from Thomas Assembly Center. My projection is Northwestern State by 2.5. It's UL Monroe by 4.5. I'm taking Northwestern State plus the 4.5 and plus 164 straight up. Brown in Colorado, 3:15, Paradise Jam, UVI Sports and Fitness Center. My projection is Colorado by 9.25, and it's Colorado by 11.5. So I'm going to take Brown plus the points. 4:30 ESPN2, Butler and number 15 Eastern from Michelob Ultra Arena. The Maui Jam Invitational. It's being played in Vegas this year because of COVID. My projection is Houston by 5.5, and it's 9.5. I'm taking Butler in the points. 5 o'clock, Akron Fordham, Hertz Arena. It's the Gulf Coast Showcase. My projection is Akron by 9.25, and it's 9.5. I was close. 132.5 is the total. Let's go. It's a tough one. Under. 5:30 Utah Valley, Idaho, the SoCal Challenge from Sarah Pavilion. My projection is Valley by 9. It's 11.5. I'm taking Idaho. Naples Invitational, East Tennessee State and Murray State from Mo Kent. And the line, my projection line is Murray by 5.25. It's 3.5. Not enough to lay the points at Murray. 133.5, so total will go over. Nassau Championship, Baja Mar Convention Center, Valpo, Jacksonville State. My projection is Jacksonville State by 12.5. It's 6.5. I'm laying the points of Jacksonville State. Creighton in Southern Illinois, 5:45, Paradise Jam, UVI, Sports and Fitness Center. My projection is Creighton by 8 7/8. And it's 4.5. I'm going to lay the 4.5 with Creighton. Ohio State and Seton Hall. Number 19, Ohio State, Seton Hall. 6 o'clock, Fox Sports 1 from Suncoast Credit Sun Arena. My projection is a pick'em. And the line is, this should certainly be up there. Very interested in this line. Seton Hall 1.5, total 138.5. I was hoping I'd get Seton Hall as a dog, but no. Instead, I'll go with the over. Loyola Marymount and SMU from UNF Arena in the Jacksonville Classic. My projection is Marymount by 1/8. And it's Southern Miss Methodist by 3.5. I'm taking Marymount plus 3.5 and plus 140 straight up. 6:30 ESPN News from the T-Mobile Center. It's the Hall of Fame Classic, number 10 Illinois in Cincinnati. This is when I stopped doing the projections. I'll just give out all the stuff and then bet blindly. Illinois is favored by 8.5. Totals 137.5. I'll lay the points with Illinois. Next up, Cornell Penn State Big Ten Network. My projection is... Oh, I know, I don't have projections anymore. I'm so used to saying that. I'm so sorry. Cornell Penn State's giving 14.5. Lay it. Sacred Heart Stony Brook. It's Stony Brook 6.5. I'll take Stony Brook in the and lay it. Albany at number 13, Kentucky. Kentucky is giving 26.5, totals 135.5. I'll take... I'll go with Albany to cover. Why not? Eastern Illinois and Eastern Kentucky. Eastern Kentucky is 13.5. Totals 148.5. I would take Eastern Illinois to cover. Western Illinois, Northern Kentucky. Talk about coincidences. Northern 6.5. Totals 146.5. I'll go the over in that play just to play around. Trey FAU. Is giving 5.5. Totals 137.5. I'll lay it with FAU. Lafayette against Rutgers. It is Rutgers 20.5. Total 136. I'm going to take the over. Nevada, South Dakota State, and the Crossover Classic in the Sanford Pentagon. South Dakota State's a 2-point favorite. Totals 161.5. That's wild. I'm going to lay it with South Dakota State. I don't feel good about it. Hofstra Richmond. Richmond's giving 9.5. Totals 145.5. I'll take Hofstra and the points to cover. Coppin State, Cleveland State. Cleveland State's giving 14.5. Totals 137.5. I'm laying it. Charleston Southern, Georgia Tech. ACC Network. For some reason, I don't see the line here. Georgia Tech, Charleston Southern. Georgia Tech's giving 23.5. Let's go with Southern to cover. Virginia, Georgia on ESPNU. The line is Georgia's giving 6.5 to Virginia. That's the dumbest line I've seen in the year. I think Virginia's going to win that game outright. I'm betting them straight up. Harvard, Siena. By the way, the Virginia-Georgia game is being played at the Prudential Center in Newark, New Jersey. But Harvard, Siena. Harvard's giving 5.5. Totals 135.5. I'll lay it with Harvard. Fredonia State, Canisius, we can skip. Mount St. Mary, Ohio. Ohio's giving 14.5. Totals 132.5. I'll lay it with Ohio. Harvard College, McNeese, we can skip at 7:30. App State, Delaware, from Hertz Arena, Gulf Coast Showcase. Delaware's giving 3.5. Totals 135.5. I'll lay it. 8 o'clock, ESPN Plus, number 2 UCLA at Bellarmine from T-Mobile Arena. UCLA's giving 19.5. Totals 144.5. I'm going to lay to 19.5 for UCLA. William Carey, South Alabama, we can skip. Tuskegee, Alabama State, we can skip. Escalade College, Southeast Louisiana, we can skip. Colorado State Northeastern from UVI. My projection here, actually no, oh my god, I'm so used to saying that. Colorado State's favored by 7.5. Totals 136.5. I like the over in that game. I think there's going to be points in that game. Missouri Baptist, Southeast Missouri State, we can skip. Charleston, Oklahoma State. Oklahoma State's giving 15.5. Totals 149.5. I'll take Charleston to cover. Belmont, LSU. LSU's giving 5.5. Totals 136.5. I'll take Belmont and the points to cover. Texas, Rio Grande, Northern Arizona. Northern Arizona's giving 4.5. Totals 143.5. I'll take the over. Missouri State and Long Beach State from Mo Kent. Missouri State, Long Beach State. Missouri State's giving 12.5, totals 151.5. I'll take the over in that game. Tarleton, North Dakota State. North Dakota State's giving 7.5, totals 125.5. I'll lay it. 8:30 Fox Sports 1 Cal, number 24 Florida. From Suncoast Credit Center Arena. Florida is a 13.5 point favorite, totals 128.5. I'll take the over. That's a low number. Missouri, Florida State from UNF Arena. I don't see a line out for this game yet. Now I do. It's 10 and 134.5. Missouri's giving 10 against Florida State. How on earth? I'm taking Florida State in the points. I might bet them to win straight up once I see that. Big Ten Network, 8:30. Western Michigan and Iowa. Iowa's giving 27.5, totals 148.5. I'll take the over. 9 o'clock ACC Network, number 7 Duke hosts the Citadel. Duke's giving 26.5, totals 155.5. I'll take the over. ESPNU, number 12 Oregon and Chaminade. You would think Oregon would beat Chaminade. I want to say Chaminade won a game in the Maui. I feel like Chaminade so they beat Virginia. That was a long time ago. Let's see. They did beat somebody. So Chaminade beat Cal. Yeah, I knew they beat somebody. No, not that long ago. In 2017, they beat Cal. They're not going to beat Oregon. I'm sorry. ESPN News, number 16, Kansas State. From T-Mobile Center. Arkansas very quietly has been really good. Very quietly been really, really good. And they're favored in this game by 9.5, totals 141.5. I'll take Kansas State in the points. I just think that's a little bit closer. Winthrop, Washington State. Washington State's giving 13.5, totals 143.5. I'm taking Winthrop in the points. Riverside, UTEP. UTEP's minus 4.5, totals 133.5. Tough one in that one. I'll lay with UTEP. Don't feel good about it, though. UMKC, Idaho State. Idaho State's giving 2.5, totals 122.5. I'm taking the over. That's a low total. Western New Mexico. New Mexico, we can skip. Wyoming and Grand Canyon. Grand Canyon's giving 3.5, totals 133.5. I'll lay it with Grand Canyon. Morgan State and San Francisco. San Francisco's giving a whopping 24.5 or 23.5, totals 146.5. I'll lay it with San Francisco. George Mason, Washington, from Sanford Pentagon at 9:30. George Mason's giving 3.5, totals 139.5. I'll take Washington plus 3.5 and plus 152. The Prudential Center has at 9:30 Providence and Northwestern. I think that's weird. Is it because the game's in New Jersey? I can't bet on it. That's ridiculous. That's complete bogus if that's the case. Let's see. That line should be up. Northwestern and Providence. Oh, here we go. It is Northwestern by 1.5. Totals 136.5. Very close of a projection. I'll take Providence to win that game. 10 o'clock, you have Colorado College, Cal State Bakersfield. We can skip that. Arkansas, Pine Bluff, and Seattle. Seattle is giving 21. I'll lay the 21 happily with Seattle. 20.5 on FanDuel. Chicago State and Pacific. Pacific is giving 21.5. Totals 131.5. I'll lay with Pacific. TCU Santa Clara. CBS Sports Network 10:30 from the J. Sarah Pavilion. TCU is giving 2.5. Totals 142.5. I'll take the under in that game. I feel like that's an under. 11 o'clock, ESPNU, number 1 Gonzaga, Central Michigan, T-Mobile Arena. Gonzaga is giving a whopping 34.5. Totals 155.5. I'll take the over. Dixie State and number 25 USC, Pac-12 Network. It's 25.5 and 147.5. I'll take the over. St. Mary's and Notre Dame from Michelob Ultra Arena, 11 o'clock on 11:30 on ESPNU. Notre Dame's a 1.5 point favorite. Totals 132.5. That's an interesting one. That is a very interesting one. I'm going to go with St. Mary's. Plus 1.5 and minus 102 straight up. And at 1 o'clock a.m. tonight, CBS Sports Network, SoCal Challenge, Pepperdine, Fresno State from J. Sarah Pavilion. Fresno's giving 6.5. Totals 138.5. I'm going to take Pepperdine getting the 6.5 just to keep it somewhat close. All right, Major League Soccer playoffs happened over the weekend, or at least on Sunday it did. And it happened Saturday too. So Philadelphia over the Red Bulls 1-0. Kansas City over Vancouver 3-1. And then Sunday, NYCFC over Atlanta 2-0, and Portland over Minnesota 3-1. So the next round begins next Sunday. So we'll be covering this on the podcast, and there are 2 more games tomorrow, which we will obviously preview and predict. Now I'll move on to golf. There was a tournament over the weekend, not a huge one. And that was the Rsm Classic. And your winner with the score of 22 under, Taylor Gooch. Second, 19 under, Mackenzie Hughes. Third, 18 under, Sebastian Munoz. Tied for fourth with 15 under, Cam Smith, Taylor Hogue, Tyson McCumber, Seamus Power. Tied for eighth with 14 under, Webb Simpson and Taylor Moore. Tied for 10th with 13 under, Luke List and Dylan McCarthy. Tied for 12th with 12 under, Jonathan Vegas, Keith Mitchell, Justin Rose, and John Huh. Tied for 16th with 11 under, J.J. Spawn, Zach Johnson, Charles Howell III, Adam Long, Aaron Ray, and Max McGreevy. Tied for 22nd with 10 under, Corey Connors, Ryan Henley, Matthew Schwab, and Troy Merritt. Matthias Schwab. Tied for 26th with 9 under, Chesra V, Andrew Norvac, and Taylor Pendrith. I'm going to just go through notables now. Tied for 29th with 8 under, Wyndham Clark, Mario Gliglick, Matt Smith, Scott Stallings, Joel Dahman, Mito Pereira. Tied for 37th with 7 under. Matt Kuchar, Adam Scott. Tied for 40 at 6 under. Doug Gibb, Russell Knox, Lucas Griffin. Tied for 47th with 5 under. Brent Snecker, Joachim Herman. Tied for 51st with 4 under. Adam Hadwin, Kevin Stroman, Brendan Steele. Tied for 57th with 3 under. Patrick Rogers, Scotty Scheffler. Tied for 61st with 2 under. Roger Sloan, Brian Harmon. Tied for 63rd with 1 under. Vincent Whaley. 67th at even, Matt Wallace. 69th with 2 over. Kyle Stanley. Tied for 70th with 3 over. Sam Piercy. Among those cut, Keith Hickok, Patton Kazir, DJ Trahan, Harry English, Danny Lee, Emiliano Grillo, Lucas Glover, Adam Putnam, Henrik Norlander, Tyler Duncan, Alex Noren, Lucas Donald, Sepp Straka, Richie Wierenski, JT Potson, Sam Ryder, Kevin Kisner, Dylan Fratelli, Luis Olson withdrew. All right, now we'll go over the weekend's news and notes. A very interesting weekend, to say the least. I alluded to some stuff throughout the podcast. We'll start from Friday and work our way up. Some political news. Kamala Harris became the first woman with presidential power while Joe Biden was under anesthesia for routine colonoscopy. So that was something that came down while we haven't recorded. The New York Yankees designate Clint Frazier, Rougned Odor, and Tyler Wade for assignment. So if you see that, you know they're thinking big for something. And they're just lying to the media. Like they did with Garrett Cole. Chargers activated Joey Bosa for last night's game against the Steelers. A couple extensions handed out. The Philadelphia Eagles handed out 2. Avonte Maddox, 3 years, $22.5 million. Dallas Goedert, 4-year, $59 million. And the Broncos, Tim Patrick, 3 years, $30 million. There was a vomit delay at the Kings game against the Jazz on Friday night after a courtside fan vomited on the floor. That was disgusting. LeBron James responds to Enes Kanter's criticism of Nike partnership. He's definitely not someone I will give my energy to. A big college football firing. Dan Mullen out at Florida after losing to 5 straight Power 5 opponents. Florida's just been a mess this year. They nearly lost to an FCS school 2 weeks ago. So that's not surprising. I usually do the AP poll rankings, but now that the college football playoff rankings are what we're using, we're not using those anymore. The AP poll, that's irrelevant in a way. We talked about the Kings firing Luke Walton. They lost 7 of 8, and they're 6-11 on the season. Alvin Gentry is the intern. I told you guys, Luke Walton was a product of Steve Kerr and the Warriors and that great run. He's not a good basketball coach. He's a good assistant coach. Steph Curry made him look like a good coach. Like, he's on that list with David Fizdale and a bunch of other coaches that are good assistant coaches, but not head coaches per se, you know? And Alvin Gentry, I think, has a good chance to keep this job long term. We'll see. The Brewers signed Pedro Severino 1 year, $1.9 million. So he'll probably be a backup for Milwaukee. A lot of football injuries. Khalil Mack out for the season, foot surgery. The Steelers did not have T.J. Watt and Minkah Fitzpatrick, which is a big loss for them on defense. A big reason why they lost that game last night. Elijah Mitchell did not play against the Jaguars. Amari Cooper did not play against the Chiefs. because he tested positive for COVID. Tim Boyle started in place of Jared Goff, as Goff is dealing with an oblique injury. Alvin Kamara missed the game against the Eagles. Meanwhile, Miles Sanders came back for that game. Hollywood Brown and Lamar Jackson both missed Sunday's game against the Bears. Hollywood Brown had a thigh injury, and Lamar Jackson had a non-COVID illness. And that was out of the blue, the Lamar thing. And then Justin Fields left that game with a rib injury. He seems like he's okay, as he just has bruises. Asante Samuel did not return in last night's game against the Steelers due to a concussion. CeeDee Lamb left the game for Dallas yesterday due to a concussion. Aaron Rodgers re-aggravated his toe against the Vikings and says he's a little worse than turf toe. Kyler Murray missed the game yesterday as Colt McCoy started again and the Cardinals won again. The Cardinals are just a good football team, man. And Clyde Edwards-Helaire came back for the Chiefs. Chris Carson out for the season due to the neck injury. And then some NBA injuries before we move on. LeBron James came back against the Pistons. Or before that, against the Celtics, my bad. And then Kevin Durant missed one big game against the Magic, and then he came back. Or he's coming back tonight against Cleveland. Frank Kaminsky missed some time due to a right knee injury. Michael Porter Jr. has a serious nerve issue. It could jeopardize the season. That would be a big loss for the Denver Nuggets. Matthias Thybulle came back for the Sixers the other night. Klay Thompson cleared to practice and is on track to return within a week of Christmas. That is a huge deal for the 15-2 Warriors. Colin Sexton done for the season due to left meniscus tear. That is a big loss for the Cavaliers. And Nikola Jokic was out of the lineup the other night due to a wrist sprain. All right, before Best Bet, I want to discuss the Dancing with the Stars finale, which is tonight, 8 o'clock on ABC. It's going to be a great show. It's down to 4 couples, amazingly enough. So it is down to Amanda and Alan, Cody and Cheryl, Amon and Daniela, and JoJo and Jenna. Finale week is the fusion dance and freestyle themed. Amanda and Alan will do a Vinette's Waltz Paso Doble and a freestyle. Cody and Cheryl looks like it's going to be Paso Doble or Cha-Cha-Cha and freestyle. Amon and Daniela is supposed to be a Foxtrot and Cha-Cha-Cha and the freestyle. And then JoJo and Jenna, a freestyle and a tango and a Cha-Cha-Cha. So it's going to be a lot of fun, and I'm going to predict the order of placement. In 4th place, I have Amon Shumpert and Daniela Karagich. In 3rd place, I'm going to predict Amanda Klutz and Alan Bernstein. In 2nd, I'm going to go with Cody Rigsby and Cheryl Burke. And then the win, I'm going to go with JoJo Siwa and Jenna Johnson. I had them winning before the season. It just feels like it's JoJo's time to shine. She's on The Masked Singer. She's going to win Dancing with the Stars. I think it's a no-brainer. I wish I could bet on this, for God's sake. Although Cheryl Burke's a phenomenal dancer, and I think her and Cody have a shot. Amon, I think, has been this pleasant surprise this year. I didn't think Amon Shumpert would go far, but here we are. And Amanda and Alan have been a solid pairing too, but I do think this is JoJo's time to shine. And she's got a whole fan base behind her back and her popularity. And she's just a phenomenal dancer as well. So, I do expect JoJo Siwa and Jenna Johnson to win this thing tonight. All right, last but not least, my best bet of the day, brought to you by FanDuel. There's some games that I liked around in all the sports, but the one that stood out to me the most, I gotta say that there's a particular team in the Big East that I just think the line is a little small against their opponent, and that's Creighton. -5.5 against Southern Illinois. I'm going to lay 2 units on this. So Creighton -5.5 against Southern Illinois. My best bet of the day. So that's it for today's show. I'll be back tomorrow recapping everything, looking at tomorrow. I hope I have all the lines and stuff for you tomorrow as well. And then I'm going to do the hit or miss activity. Last week I did the 2020 NFL Draft first round. Tomorrow I'm going to do the 2020 Major League Baseball Draft first round. And obviously we'll recap Dancing with the Stars finale and such as well. And I hope you guys have a great day, everybody.